welcome to this love fest. Don't you just love what we can do here?
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, I'm the happy host for this next hour that we have. It's going to be fantastic. And I wanted to just share with you, I'm Mary Beth Spear. I think most of you know that. I am on Anton's board of directors, and it's my happy job to serve as membership chair. So if you have any questions about membership, I'd love to talk to you. We're going to open with some fabulous music by Reverend Sidney Lehman. And I have to just share with you, Sidney and I go all the way back to when she was our music director at the Glendale Church of Religious Science with Helen Street. So we go ways back, and she's just a force of nature, I'll tell you. Sidney was raised in New Thought, and she's currently not just a musician, she's also a Center for Spiritual Living minister, on-demand jazz musician, et cetera, but because of COVID, she's been spending a lot of time writing talks, vacuuming up pet hair, and baking bread. According to her, a lot of bread. So Sidney, would you please sing us in?
Yes, I will. I love Ernest Holmes, and I love Walter Starkey. So I introduced them to each other. They probably knew each other in a song that I wrote a few years back. I've been thinking lately about what it is that keeps us going. What's the reason for believing, even when the light's not showing? Is it more than hope or creative fire, binding us to our heart's desire? Earth and heaven bound together in one strand that winds forever. There's a thread connecting me and a thread connecting you to power never ending. It's always guiding and intending. It's the love connecting me. It's the love connecting you, gently woven by the hands of time. Tapestry of infinite design in this thing called life. Spirit pulls and pushes through pain and through confusion, saying, look beyond the things you know, look beyond the world's illusions, look beyond your hope, beyond your wishes, beyond the world's superstitions. Look beyond, 'cause earth and heaven are bound together in one strand that winds forever. It's a thread connecting me and a thread connecting you to power never ending. It's always guiding and intending. It's the love connecting me. It's the love connecting you. We're gently woven by the hands of time in a tapestry of infinite design. The double thread, it's the mind connecting me. It's the mind connecting you to power never ending. It's always guiding and intending. gently woven by the hands of time, in a tapestry of infinite design. Each of us eternal and divine, in this thing called life. This double thread called life. The double thread. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sydney. Oh my God, my heart's just bursting open here. Well, I just want to share with you all that Anton has a new vision this year. We dusted it off and we revisited it. And our vision is connecting the new thought movement through consciousness and love. Sydney, your song could have been our anthem. Anyway, all our presenters for this day are all doing this by donation of their time and their talent. When we went to them with the idea of this conference needing to get everyone together, everyone said yes. So if you're of mind to, go to anton.org or go to newthought.org to our website, and you can click on there, make a donation, cruise the website, find out all the wonderful things we have going on around Anton. One of the wonderful things we have in Anton are members, and one of my favorite power prayers is Reverend Margaret Palegi, who's a fabulous spiritual leader of the Joyful Gathering Center in Westmont, New Jersey, and she's going to pray us in.
Yes, let's pray in. Let's just take that deep breath of life, knowing that moving in and through and as each and every one of us is that thread of life, that connective thread in this tapestry of oneness, of unity. And so I am knowing and going to that place in consciousness that recognizes this power for good, this energy that flows in and through all life, this creative force of absolute love, love that is beyond all imagination. And it is flowing in and through each and every one of us. We are in this matrix of life. We are connective beings of light. Our threads of connectivity in this tapestry of life are unique and beautiful unto each thread. And so I declare right here and right now, we move forward even deeper in realizing and recognizing that the connectivity of life, of each other, of our consciousness, of who we are is so vital to the whole finished product of this beautiful tapestry that we are all a part of, just by right of consciousness and by right of showing up. And we have shown up. And as we continue to show up and allow that God love to guide us, to pull us into a greater vision of who we are and what unique qualities and gifts we have to share, we give thanks. We give thanks for Anton and this incredibly wonderful day that they have put together. Talk about connecting. This is divine connection through Anton. Each and every person has been inspired beyond belief. How grateful we all must feel. My heart is overflowing with gratitude. My cup runneth over, for I know that each one has shown up pure of heart and beautiful in spirit. I release this word into that activity, into that intelligence of the infinite law of universal mind, where this word is made manifest. And this tapestry that we have created in our community of Anton becomes even more glorious and beautiful than we could have ever imagined. I give thanks. I celebrate life. I celebrate all the good. And so it is.
Woohoo! Thank you, Reverend Margaret. that was a power prayer. Well, you've got us all ready because we're ready for an amazing hour with one of my dear friends, Reverend Mark Anthony Lord. And I could talk a lot about this, but I don't want to take up his time. But I will tell you, he is an internationally recognized author, speaker, teacher, and he's also a passionate lifelong learner, which I think is why he's so wonderful at what he does. And Mark describes himself as a New Thought mutt. I love that. He was raised in unity. He was trained at Agape, and he was ordained as a Centers for Spiritual Living minister. He pretty much loves the cutting edge of anything and is typically found out on that edge, willing to learn, to grow, to create, and even if it fails. He defected from Chicago, where I am. I miss him, but he's happily now serving as the senior minister of the Unity Naples Church in Florida. And I'm wondering, how could a minister miss who has a name like Lord? So now he's going to give us some heaven. Take it away, Mark.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mary Beth. So good to be with you. And Reverend Margaret, thank you for that prayer. I saw our picture on Facebook that you posted. I just loved that you shared that. And thank you, Sydney, for that beautiful music. I really appreciate that. I'm so honored to be here. I really, really am. And, I want to start humbly because I really commit to walking my talk and these teachings every day. So I want to begin by offering my apologies to the Anton organization. And the reason I owe that apology is that someone sent me a message when they saw that I was speaking here, out of love, I really appreciated this, that I had made a comment in Georgia. I don't remember, there was nothing referenced, but it was an unconscious comment of some kind. And I have no memory of it, but someone told me that. And I appreciated being called out on that. I always want to be supported in walking in my truth. So I know you all know how to forgive and how to accept my gracious and humble apology, because I have nothing but love here. And that is my truth. And that's why I'm glad to be here. I'm talking all day about this amazing opportunity to reimagine ourselves and reimagine the world. And the whole world is doing it. As I was thinking about this, it's like our tech leaders of our world, they are even now feverishly building in uncharted territories and forging ways for us to connect virtually that we seriously still cannot imagine. We're literally at the beginning. There are leaders of the children who are reassessing everything they thought they knew about education, about mental health and wellness, about emotional well-being, about environments and learning capacities. All of that is being looked at and considered. We have leaders in health and wellness. Talk about an explosion, the awareness of how food works and doesn't work. What is food? What is not food? How are bodies different? The brilliance that is within us and how that's being explored. And then there are us, the spiritual leaders, us, you, as every wave of activities being called to reconstruct, to deconstruct, to reimagine. We too are offered that very same invitation. We, in order to move forward, I believe, have to truly put ourselves on the cutting edge, put ourselves into that place where we ask, what is relevant? And this is in our personal lives as well as our collective agreements. What is relevant? What matters? What is moving us forward? And as spiritual leaders, who are we being called to be? And for me, what I want to talk about is what's come to me over this last year. And one of them is to really live the teaching. I mean, both feet in. So there's 3 different ways I want to look at that for us today. And the first is to forgive it all. Forgive it all, non-negotiable. It says in the 12 steps, in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, if we were to live, we had to be free of anger. The grouch and the brainstorm were not for us. They may be the dubious luxury of the normal men, but for alcoholics, these things are poison. And I would exchange that out and say, for spiritual leaders, for people who are dedicated to spiritual awakening, these things are poison. Now, that may be different than other ideas around emotional intelligence. And believe me, I'm not making anger wrong. But what I accept in this is that any feeling that comes my way, I'm not allowed to get stuck in it. I'm not allowed the luxury of holding it longer than a day. I don't permit myself. In fact, I was on a podcast a couple months back being interviewed by someone, and they know me throughout my life. And they said to me something that I felt was really wonderful. They said, all the years they've known me, they can't believe how much I forgive. And I said to them, it's absolutely non-negotiable. I have no right and I have no room to hold anything against anyone. And I have just stepped through that invisible gate. Both feet are on the other side of that. Is it always easy? No. Does that mean I get stirred up? Absolutely. But what an invitation to practice. That's all it means to me today. I have no judgment against my triggers. I hold no judgment against other people's triggers. I hold no judgment against my reactions or my words. But when they're caught and when they're less than holy, I know what to do, and I do it willingly today. I don't even entertain the story of or sing the song of somebody done me wrong. It's just not acceptable. And I invite you to consider that as an invitation for you. For all of these, I want you to be thoughtful of where have I been living in the gray area or the vagueness, because that's what we want to discover, because that's what won't move us forward. I really believe that there is no other option. And I also believe that many spiritual people are 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And that is exactly why a lot of places are struggling, because people know us not by the words we speak, but by the vibration in which we walk in. So think about this from your life for a moment. What are you tolerating in terms of unforgiveness? What are you allowing to hang out? The little socially acceptable, the choices of the political sides, the choices between your family system, your judgment against a brother, a sister, a child, a lover, a friend. What part of you has become immersed in making it okay to keep out of my heart people, places, or things? This is what is important. This is what I find to be so vitally important for me. We have to do the work, or we have to give up our seat on the bus. That's kind of the way I think about this. I truly do. And forgiveness works. It has proven itself over and over and over in my life. But people make forgiveness too complicated. They make it way too complicated. They think they have to do the heavy lifting. They attach the I individual to the word forgiveness. I have to forgive. I have to do it. I find none of that to be true. The only thing that does the forgiveness work is what I call the Holy Spirit, the higher power, the presence of the divine, the Christ light, whatever name you call it. And it's not separate. It is the highest presence of love that you are. It's calling upon that to the part of us that believes that we've been broken or betrayed or whatever resentment or regret we're holding against ourselves or another. We can't solve the problem at the level of the problem, but that's not what we're asked to do. So don't try. We're asked to call upon someone, to call upon this higher presence and this power. So I want to lead you in a practice of that. So please join me in closing your eyes. It's so simple. Close your eyes, breathe in, and bring to mind someone that you're holding out of your heart, not yourself, someone else, even a little bit, because there is no great or small in God. You're either all in or you're all out. So even a little irritation, a judgment against a person, an establishment, let someone appear in your mind at a distance, and just see them for a moment. See them in your mind's eye. And now imagine your heart opening with the energy of golden light love flowing from your heart and connecting to their heart. And as it does, you simply say 3 times, I ask that forgiveness set you and me free. I ask that forgiveness set you and me free. I ask that forgiveness set you and me free. Breathe in. And as you exhale, imagine that golden light just streaming at them, and they become filled with it, and they grow bigger and bigger and bigger until they just disappear in the infinite light of love. Take a breath. And now I invite you to bring yourself to mind. See yourself in a distance, standing in front of you. Whatever image, age, creation of yourself that appears, that's perfect. Just look at yourself in your mind's eye for a moment. Look at that beloved being and imagine your heart opening and extending that golden light of love from your heart to your heart, streaming that love between you and that image of you. And say to that being, I ask that forgiveness set you and me free. I ask that forgiveness set you and me free. I ask that forgiveness set you and me free. Breathe in. See that you become pure golden light of love and forgiveness. And this one, you're going to imagine them floating right towards you, merging right into your being, right into the body that you're in now. Breathe in the fully forgiven self. Imagine that self coming in like the body you're in is like the costume, and the fully forgiven self comes in and takes it over and merges with you. Breathe in. I am the fully forgiven self. Open your eyes when you're ready. So that is a simple forgiveness practice I do all day long. I ask that forgiveness set me free. I ask that forgiveness. I ask. We are commanded, or we're directed in the scripture, ask and it is given. Ask activates. It's the same as commanding. It's just a different word. Commanding the law, activating the law. But asking for me has some humility. It's like, I can't, God can. Asking brings me to that place of receiving and receptivity that allows forgiveness, which is a mystical something that is done unto us. It's poured, imagine being poured into you, dissolving the past, freeing you from the story, realigning you, and walking you over the bridge to remember who you are and always have been. This is non-negotiable. As we move forward into a new era, a new expression of being, if you walk with me, if you walk in your experience of everything must be forgiven, I hold nothing against no one, I can't, it doesn't work. When you embrace that, you will be known by your name, by your nature, and you will vibrate in such a place of love. You will be the one that walks in the room and with no words, people will be like, what just came in the door? Why does this room feel different? What's happening? What's happening is you've arrived. And if you know the way of mastery, you'll know that the Christ light has gone before you, entering the room, because you have done the real work and you walk in it. So that's the first invitation. The second invitation is that we move into a greater conviction and a certainty about the principles that we teach, that we believe, and that we must live. Like the first one, there's no more soft-pedaling or apologizing for how fantastic we are. My invitation is to get fundamental about it. I mean, fundamentalism is a bad rap in religion, but it's a perfect rap for you and your commitment to new thought principles. Back to the AA Big Book for a moment. It says, half measures avail us nothing. Half measures avail us nothing. And that's so true. It's so true, and it's so important, because all of the great New Thought movements, the science of mind, the divine science, the unity movement, all of the great organizations, never anything I'm missing, it all came from the inception of, you can drill it back to one or two people that had such an amazing revelation, such certainty that they became it. And when they became it, a movement was born. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore founded the Unity movement in the late 1800s from their own healing, from their own knowing of who they are and how God works. And every movement has that, but each generation, we lose the connection to that center and it becomes watered down. It becomes vague. It becomes a little confusing, and then it becomes less magnetic and it becomes less effective. I took a class for Unity in the winter, the Unity authors, and I had to study, as my presentation, Emily Cady. Now, she wrote the book, how can I forget that? Someone help me with that's one of the most famous books in the Unity movement. It'll come to me.
Lessons in Truth.
Thank you. Lessons in Truth. Thank you. She wrote Lessons in Truth. And as I studied her and meditated on her, she said something that I pray I walk in every day. And she said, there's only God. Everything else is a lie. And it pierced me because I know this, because we know this, because we speak this. But do we walk it for real? Let me tell you something. Emily Cady was a fundamental New Thought maniac with her commitment to live these principles and to prove God without any gray area whatsoever. I believe we can help people walk who can't walk. I believe we can help people heal who couldn't heal. I believe that the power of prayer is better than any medicine in this world. I absolutely know that. And when we know that together and we live that and we are unwavering in the proof of it, oh my God, they will come out of their homes from all over just going, what? There's a North Star pulling me. I've got to go there. I've got to go there wherever it is. This is our invitation as we rebirth, to remember and to not, I'm kind of harsh on this stuff because I'm passionate. So forgive me for that, because it comes from love. But too many people are pointing at the pointer. Ernest Holmes is a pointer pointing us to God. The divine science sisters are pointers pointing us to God. Ernest Holmes is a pointer pointing us at God. How often do we praise the pointer instead of become that which is being pointed at? That's what is needed and wanted. I love every one of those pointers. I will quote them, but I will only quote them in service of pointing themselves to the God in me and then letting the God in me speak, because this is what's true. Please hear this. Quoting someone else is lovely, but it's not alive unless it's you. People come to our centers, to our practitioner sessions, to the things that we hold, all of our spiritual stuff. People come because the person sitting in the center of it should be alive with the message of God and their language placed upon it. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, by the activation of the Christ light in the center of your soul. Be you willing to be so certain of these principles that you would never need to quote another person, because the living God is a bottomless fountain of words and magic and inspiration and healing power. Point to the God within and become so on fire with that God, whatever he or she or it looks and feels like. It doesn't matter when it's alive in you, because it's you and it speaks through you and it shall use you. You will walk down the street and lives will be changed. This is our opportunity. This is where And perhaps I'm just walking through that fundamentalist door. But I'm telling you, when I read Emily Cady again, it said to me, why am I entertaining anything but this truth? Anything. This is what becomes very important and interesting to me. Your God is interesting to me. Your God, alive inside of you, speaking, is interesting to me. The Course in Miracles says that God is constantly talking to you. There's a voice of inspiration and love. I imagine it just flowing. I feel it on this side of me, just flowing and flowing and flowing. And that is what the world wants you as a spiritual teacher, a spiritual counselor, a healer, whatever, a musician, whatever you call yourself. Everyone here is appointed in the new thought consciousness to be it and to be so certain of it. And that requires us to practice it. That requires us to truly walk in what we say. As I said earlier, another one, the same holds true on this one, that they will know us by our nature. They will know us not by what we're saying, but by who we are and who we're being. So I want you to be deeply interested in this one. No shame, no blame. Are you a house divided? Are you, and this is important to me, so don't misunderstand, this is for me that I'm speaking from. I gave up last year soft pedaling language to make other people feel comfortable. I'm not going to dumb down my message because I think that person won't get it or they're sensitive. I will raise them up with the language I use. I will lift them up into a new understanding of words, because if words block anyone from the message, they're not even in the game. And if someone says to me, oh, I don't like the word God, don't use the word God, I go, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's the very place you need to heal. Get related to the word God, because in the word God is everything that's blocking you from awakening to your oneness. Thank God that one word is packed with all the junk, because now you know where to look. Now you know exactly where to find your doorway to freedom. I just won't do it. I won't limit my words. Now I'll use other words to keep it generous. But I want to pay attention, because I hear this a lot too, of people beginning, especially those of us leaders. We begin with, well, they're new. Well, they're wounded by this. And already we put them in a pocket of victimhood. Why would we do that to anyone? Instead of saying, well, they're wounded and we got to go slow, let's go, well, they're holy. They just forgot. That's cool. I know that, but I'm not going to go down and meet them. I'm going to lift them up to their truth and their power. It begins with us being so certain of our own, using the words that align with our soul and resonate with our being, and helping others to become free from rejection, from pushing it away. You know, the ego's tough. The ego gets right in our spiritual game. And it plays all the, ooh, don't do that, oh, don't, like all this silliness, all of this that keeps us in the lower vibration. And my commitment is to leave all of that behind us as we look forward into stepping back out into the world, not like we were before, but moving forward as the teachings and the principles that were so solid in the beginning. Matthew 12:25 says, every kingdom divided against itself is laid waste, and no city or house divided against itself will stand. So for me, this is a call to ask, where am I still a house divided? Where am I speaking truth and entertaining lie? Where am I saying this, but doing that? Where am I knowing oneness and then using my words to divide a brother or sister? Like, these are important questions. And I want to slow down and get better and better and better. I mean, sometimes my prayer is, Holy Spirit, don't let me speak. Don't, please, please, there's something going down and I cannot speak, because if I speak, something's going to happen. I can't, like, I'm just like, please let me just be love. Let me just be love. Put yourself in a bit of your own pressure cooker and make the commitment and stop refraining. This is my last invitation on this one. Stop refraining from truth telling. Please join me in being so courageous and convicted and compassionate and loving. When someone says a lie about themselves, be courageous and say, sweetheart, that's not true. That's not true. I'm not going to entertain that story with you. Call them up. I've always appreciated every person that has called me up. Every time someone has said, hey, this is what's true about you, I have been nothing but grateful. So why wouldn't I pass that on? What I'm really talking about is, instead of being codependent, be convicted to truth, be centered in truth. And this is what I've got to pray around, because I do codependency well, brothers and sisters. I know the name and the nature of that game. I know what it's like to have a truth inside me, but not speak it because, oh, they're fragile. Oh, I've made up the story that they can't handle it. All of this, as someone mentioned earlier, bullshit that is actually in my way of living as a magnificent light. I know I'm love. I know the power of God is within me, and I know it's unlimited. That's all I need to know. And I know that that love will move through that power. And when I surrender to it, it will say what must be said. It will do what must be done. And this leads me to the third point of the invitation, which is, I call partner up. Partner up, nonstop. Use me. Use me, God. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. To be humble to the I am presence. And this is tough for New Thought because we're so certain it's who we are, and it is who we are. But I'm talking about, again, this is inside of oneness. If the language fails me, when I say partner up, I mean partner up with Spirit, partner up with the Holy Spirit, partner up with the Christ consciousness. Whatever you say, continue to let the heavy lifting be done by thine, not by me. It says in John, I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge. And my judgment is just, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me. I can of my own self do nothing. There's a paradox. And when you accept full powerlessness, you are given full power. It's not a middle road and you're trying to find your way. It is live in the paradox, and then all is given to you as the way. So in my powerlessness, I have access to all power. And when I'm standing in all power, it's only effective if I remember the paradox is, I have no power here. When you can get this paradox, you will surrender joyously. You will gladly say, thy will be done. Thy will be done, because thy will is glorious. Thy will is perfect. Thy will is everything. I was 24 years old, and I was standing on the corner of Broadway and Belmont for Chicago people. Corner of Broadway and Belmont. It's a February night. It was snowing. I was leaving a 12-step meeting. I'd just been in 12 steps for maybe a couple months. And friends, I was not doing it well. Let's just say I was going to the meetings, and that's all I was doing. It was the first step, but man, did I have a ways to go. But it was after a meeting on a Friday night, and excuse me, I'm going to turn that off so it doesn't catch me. I was standing up, it was Friday night after a 12-step meeting, and I was walking home. But for this particular quarter, if I went north, I'd be heading to my house. If I went one block west, I was at the bars. And I stood there frozen. I mean frozen. And I can't move forward. I can't go that, and the light kept changing. Standing and the street light would change, and people would just walk by me. It wasn't real busy. It was a Friday night in winter. But I was standing there, and I had this true, God, I can't go home. I can't go to these bars. I can't move. And I swear to you, I felt the Spirit move me. And I even put my hand out. This is a true story, friends. I put my hand out and I felt like something took my hand and walked me home. I kept my hand out the whole walk. That was like 6 more blocks. And I just kept my hand out like I was just walking with Spirit. Now, was that me? Of course that was me. No one saw anybody else around me. But within me was a surrender and an allowing of love to do for me what I could not do for myself. This humility to me is everything. And this is what allows me to continue to what I call partner up. Partner up. And through me, I become the vessel. I become that light. That's all that I can be. That's all that we are. But it is absolutely everything. And your self-concepts that are less than holy will dissolve. Your belief systems about other people, places, and things will be transformed. This is how it works. And this is a practice, all of them: forgiveness, living from principle, powering up. These aren't one-time deals. I could say, well, I went to the gym last month. I don't know why I'm not skinnier. I don't get it. I mean, I went last month. And you'd all be like, oh, dude, you're crazy. You're crazy. But when it comes to spirituality, there's a little bit of crazy in there. There's sort of a thought of like, well, I did that last month. That should be forgiven. It should be different. Any shoulding on your path is not going to get you anywhere. Do it again. Do it again. And do it again. Make it a way of life. So these are the 3 things that I'm stepping into, thank you, to this conference, this retreat, to help me get centered, is I'm stepping into even a deeper conviction that all must be forgiven and all will be forgiven through me. It may take a day, may take 2 days, may take some prayer calls, but I'm committed. I am absolutely committed and certain of the principles that we teach, the healing power of Spirit, and the undeniable strength that will move mountains. And I will entertain that, and I will walk in that, and I will not be seduced by the lies of the world. Sickness is a lie. Poverty is a lie. Not enoughness is a lie. Loneliness is a lie. Anything less than the glory of God is not true. And I am certain of that. So it is now my job to see through that and to help that to be dissolved so that together we rise up. And then finally, I myself don't do any of this. I partner up, and I partner up again. It is so fun to be humble. It is so glorious to take the back seat and to let, as I say, the Holy Spirit drive my car, my way through life. I let that occur, and I get the best view. I get the relaxed ride, and I move into action and activity from that place. So do I do any of this perfectly? Hell no. Hell no. But I will not stop growing or trying. I believe this is what, more than anything, it's not about marketing. It's not about the best sexy way to get the word out so people know we're here. Forget it. Everybody's doing that now. The virtual ocean is filled with noise. Your one little meme or your one little Facebook post or any of these things, which I do too, are just like a pebble in a stormy ocean. But your consciousness rises up and calms the storm. It is your consciousness that can walk right on that stormy water, calm the sea, bring the truth. And that is the best marketing machine that we've got. So that is my talk for you this evening. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you today. I could only pop in periodically because of other works, but I was here as best as I could be, and I loved every minute of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark Anthony.
Thank you.
We have a few minutes if anyone has any questions for Reverend Mark Anthony.
And I don't have any questions, but I have some comments. I tell you, Mark Anthony, I have filled my note page here with talk ideas. Yeah, I got a million. You say so many great things. I've got a million of them on this page right here. So thank you.
Well, send me the list because I always miss them.
I will send it to you. It's a great list. Thank you.
I put your contact information in the chat, Mark. So if people want to reach out to you.
Can I jump in too here, Mary Beth?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for talking about not diluting principle and not diluting truth. It is so past time to move beyond, to rise above magical thinking, and yes, practice the practice and absolutely live as it. And this is something that having grown up in this teaching with teachers who were so powerfully anchored in the absolute, that this absolute, it has to, this is what we have, and we do back off. We back off and we can't do it. That's, full frontal God is what I call it. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your words on this.
I love that. I am the first person that if 80% could get me there, I'd figure out how to just do 80%. I'll always look for the shortcut.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Anything else, anyone?
I'll just add something. I just want you to know that you really, really touched me. Thank you so much for doing the work that you have done. I want you to know it was a gift for me today. Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to say, Mark, you are one class act, and I was really inspired. And just like PJ, I got material for talks too. Thank you so much. Love you.
I'm going to start a new job of just like talk title generator or something like that.
Well, you know what they always say? They say if you take from one place, it's research. I mean, if you take from one place, it's stealing, but if you take from many, it's research.
Exactly. So I have many I have many, so it's all good. But the information you put in the chat, Mary Beth, doesn't work. It says it's parked. MarkAnthonyLord.me is parked. It's not a working thing. So what is the real one, Mal?
It is, wait a minute. I'm only on Reverend Bill. I want to go to everyone. There it is. You need the www.
You got to put the www. Okay.
Yeah. www.markanthonylord.me.
Okay.
And if I can share one thing with you, I'm going to put this in there too. This is a 7-day chakra challenge that I'm doing in May, and it is for the LGBTQIA+ world. I'm facilitating a summit with Unity and Agape and Anton, and I don't think Anton, but AGNT. There's a couple other New Thought organizations that are supporting this summit, a weekend experience in June for the LGBTQIA+ world. This is just a fun challenge, taking the chakras and the colors of pride and bringing them together to bring pride and our spiritual side together. So please grab that too. And if you're an ally, join this challenge, of course. I mean, you're welcome. Just know that it has a specific focus, but please share it with your LGBTQIA+ friends and family members. Let them know about this because this is created for them. I'd appreciate your support on that.
I just have to say one more thing, because you brought up a word that reminded me. I want to thank you for helping to midwife Lola Wright, who's also from Anton, by the way, as you probably know and remember. Yes. But yeah, Lola is just amazing, and I'm so glad that she was able to study with you and then move into her own incredibly high vibration. So thank you for saying yes and being available to that path as well.
Yeah, Lola walked into my center in Chicago with a toothless dog that was nearly blind, no ability to pay her bills, 2 children, single mom, clunker car. Like, she just had nothing, but she came to those classes and she showed up. She blows my mind. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Is your event online or is it brick and mortar, in person?
It is online. It's called the Global Pride Spiritual Summit. You can actually go there if you'd like to, globalpridespiritualsummit.org. And I really appreciate your sharing that, especially for those of you, every center has LGBT people in it, and they're so welcomed. And that's one of our greatest gifts. We truly create a space of love for everyone. And simultaneously, it's very powerful when, we have times to go off in our own little collection to be together. It's great to have a women's conference. It's great to have a men's conference. It's great to have an LGBT experience where together we can have different kinds of healing. So that's what this is dedicated to.
Yeah, when I think of the word worthy, I think of you, Mark. You started that whole program, Worthy.
Well, actually, they started it, but they used my stuff for it. I was grateful for
Your
that.
worthy stuff.
Yes, I was very grateful. That was a Unity publication.
I want to make sure I close this up, but if there's any time left, we'll keep talking. But I wanted to let everyone know that right after this session at whatever o'clock it is, we're in 4 time zones here, but we are going to have a pray-a-thon. And we just keep stressing, this is not about being practitioners or ministers or people who know how to pray right. This is everybody. We're going to have this wild cacophony of joy and spirit, and everybody's voice just blending with everyone else's voices. And so you don't have to do it right. You just do it your way, and your way is right. So please do the pray-a-thon right after this. And then we have different breakouts. So be sure you look at the schedule. Reverend Dr. Janine Burns is going to be doing an EFT tapping session around grief and release, which is, I've done some of her work, and she's a fabulous teacher. And we've got a DJ dance party with Reverend Bill Marchione's wife is one of the people that's going to be leading that wild time. And then we've also got, if things are percolating for anyone and you want a one-on-one session with a practitioner, we have people available and on call for you. We're consciousness on call. And then after that, we're going to have happy hour and just an FYI, BYOB, haha. And we're going to end with an all-star concert, which I'm really excited about. So Mark Anthony, I miss you here, my friend, here in Chicago. Just always was so comforting knowing you were down the street. So maybe we can have Zoom lunch or something.
I'd love that. We're actually moving back up north in May we bought a house in Saugatuck.
Ah, well, we'll swoop down and maybe see you.
Yes.
We have 3, so we'll come see you.
That'd be great.
Let me go ahead and close out the session. Reverend Linda Machizik walked into one of our Unity retreats a couple of years ago and joined Anton. And my heart just opened when I met her. And she's one of the most potent people. I'll tell you, if you look up the word love, she's right there next to it. So she's going to pray us out. And thank you. My heart is so full right now. I can barely talk. So please pray us out, Reverend Linda.
I can't think of a better time to be asked, because I am inspired. So I close my eyes and breathe into my heart space along with every one of you and say, thank you, God, boldly. Thank you, Spirit, for bringing each and every one of us to this session today with Mark. Thank you for the great wisdom, for the vulnerability that he shared with us, for the authenticity, for the passion. As we, each and every one of us, recommit to standing up for the truth as we know it, for reaching out and saying, here it is, come, receive it, let us serve you, use us, use me. We are so grateful. And so it is. Amen.